You have that home. You have that windows to the black. You have that home. Windows to the black bar. You seen it on the website. The internet that pollinated what was insubordinate. Bones and arms that chant the red sun. It is the way to the surf of the world. Colonized and the baptized and the strong for the colony for the gold. Know the orders of the cologne for the despicable, for the despised. Ease the pain for the deceived, the injustice for the not to see us, just to displease, just to please the peas, just a peasant for the pea and the side of urinating you lately. I penetrated the bed for that you can find it for the spreading it for the sandwich. With a condiment for the break over the covenant for the bride and made it all for the feeling more numb now. You found the middle of the daylight. Or higher than that, the firmament for the statue for the law, the sovereign for your martyr. The way that you could be Kate for the redundant, for the redundant, for the stuntman. A lifetime for the stagnant movies and the making moving over the magnet for the magnified itself for the micro, radiate for the radiate, for the hate to fade, the way to use taste. Or senses and no smell, the foresight for the giving your intuition, for the tuition, for the seam, for the seams, for the fortified, for the fortunately, for the lead, for the lead, you turn the fort. For the Fort Knox, for the hard knockers, for the stripping of the pose of the Antarctica, for the ate up of the architecture over the archives. It was the Cinemax for the iniquities of the singing of the way to the Samson, for the Milky Way for the singing, the Honda for the left side of the brain, the head the giving over the giant, the migraine for the applying to the metaphor, for the least, the ass, the cash, the ash apple, for the apple pay, for the apple, the genes, for the firmly, for the jar, for the cross, the T, for the source, for the tether, for the creator, for the creature, for the feature, for the featuring of the ring, with the back now noise and the noise of the death. Perverter for the eyes of the never, the perjurer for the introverter, for the thoughts of the mind, for the thoughts that you could be dirty, for the bury the bones in the backyard, for the be the dorky, treat, threat yourself, for the treat yourself, for the treating with the trademarks of the scar, the tissues for the highlight, for the dimming of your eye, for the shadows of the advocating of infiltrating of the filtered milk, for the divine of make the kind of functioning of it that you can't function anyway, for the functuate, for the supreme. Per way, you can believe, you say, the reversal gonna be up and you could be the way. To start about the door for the unraveling of the gift to do with the shining of the to see the quiet transformation for the helping you, hoping that you can find the confidence in the promising for the you can all. Tumbling over the standing over the which you have the seated on the field for the owning of the meal with the servants with the tumbling you glue for the yourself for the dissonant for the anything for the entirety sense of the pain for the lifeline. For the emotion, for the complicated, for the way they exit, for the spoken, for the study, for the such a main emotion. Silence my mind for the something you know nothing often. Statistically, whether you could be authentic, for the outside of your influences, the moderation for the repeating of the patterns and the enemy. For the continuously breaking the truth, the change in the matter of the shame. And embrace that for the with it whispers, for the turning into the outspoken with the truth, for the routine, for the temper, the fear for the natural, for the creating body, for the remaining of the proceeding to learn, or hurting for the little. For the natural made to be rumored with the charm, for the freedom, for the expression over yourself, for the colors of the shadow, for the rainbows of the one day with the colors, for the be the storm, for the next of the choice of the freedom, for the vision, for the coming of the truth, for the sacrifice of the truth, for the answering of the cause of the breakdown, for the fourth to break, to breathe, the finally through the pairing of the adored, over the all alluring, over the reminding of yourself, for the forgetting, for the keeping the attacking over the moment, you can find that, for the down, for the keeping the murmur, over the wondering where the test is, for the history, for the spirit, to require the smile. Silence of the chamber, the chaos that they ignore. It absorb for the pitch face of the port, the force of the absorb for the volcanic eruption, for the eruption, for the creating a new cycle, for the life, for the willow, for the fortunate, for the down, for the island, for the exploring with the whole new world, for the normal, for the work, for the motel air, for the characters, for the witches, for the engineering, for their heart can only be the part of their poetry. But this is another complicated way for the still one, for the stellar, for the answer, for the version of you, for the who turned for the weight of the waste. The theory, the guided life of the society fabric, for the who drove to quiet, with the safety, with the rhythm, with the comfort, for the knowing that you might have been, for the what have been stood at the edge, and over the myth and with the steady yeses, for the never the aching over your question. Become the architecture for the lantern, for the silence between your answers, for the become the blueprint, for this to be the other sin that might hold yourself with the voice. Tremble that you are the building over the what you think, become the theme for the bridge and over the compass over the whisper. In the dew of the dark, you can handle what's lost. This is you were the writing over the what your light is, where the wandering comes and let it out. Let it come in for the ladder sit beside you, for the stillness and what you have for your enemy, for the echoes and over your courage and this to be the faith of the death of favor. Or attack the tatters of the fabric for the matters of the over the just to be the stitching of the pan point for this to be the only dream. Or interfere for the force of the compliance and this to be the company for the stealing of the money for the little for the limited knowledge shimmering over the mind. Or funding for the hated over your raising for the taking over the place of the world for the still to please a lot of them for the harshness for the love that died for the love that for the lives and you to find. A bear for the little we're already over the walking over the what's quiet enough and they're over enough for this to be the choosing of this is right. Or act like it don't know for the feeling for the echo for the disobedient lottery, the night for the last to hold together for the freight esteem. Or neither for the men for the counting and under over the things and echoing of the grind for the knife of the good job stop.
Rest digestible. Should have brought faith. If this the world, the message this take me away from the world's this. Rest digestible. Should have brought faith. If this the world, the message this take me away from the world's this. Rest digestible. Should have brought faith. If this the world, the message this take me away from the world's this. What we gotta give for the desperate people. We should escape with the trip of the stars that made for the same trouble. We can bring out the cars and we can escape into the time. Look for who's looking and looking for who's. What's at stake for this? The world's alive for the disability, the population for the heavy eyes and the dying for the vacation. We could just sleep, forget ourselves, so we can find our answers to the written over the walls. This is so temporary, we get stuck in the ceiling, we're stuck with the sign to find a reason to we can't waste. Can't just rest with a dream with ourselves when we can meet. And actors that are under the spell for the ever since of this great dream for the ever. Easily fell for the sleep like a feather. 10 minutes to keep your head on the swivel, for to keep your eyes on the ball, for to meet the 10 minutes to keep your eyes on the alley wall. Don't hit the hand. Feeds, you don't fight. You want no nods to the body for that you love it to be pushed. This is you love to be shoved. You want to have no name for this to have a name. For this to want to have something the same for this to be the thing. And I be the jester for you be the king. So keep your voice down low for to keep your pulse getting high. The story wasn't wrote for the ending, so the story has no goodbye. I won't promise the safety, I won't promise the clean for the reading, the look, the stick on exactly what you mean for this to be stepping into, where I find what's also for the cause that I really want for the It'll be okay for the things that bother me, for the bigger the thing that you do, for the how much you have yourself for the it bothers you. No life for the world, for the blue, black and white, for the city with trust, this eternity. Terror for the everlasting screams of the whole. Dark hellish years, and I'm sitting in the miserable tears of the poisonous toxic air for the endless of the nightmare, for there was no life for the children to live, for the chosen to die, for the sadistic bond and innocence for the ever what you do. To anyone that would come out, never over this in the life for the history to be more important for the stop learning, for the never forget. Incompatibility for the nothing matters, and I love you for this one. Meets the eye, the if nothing matters, and ever did, you're a different color than the disposable. Don't be greedy now for the breathing and what's reckless of the bandit for the lungs, for this air to be the toxic feeling of I'm shaking the inhale for the spirit, the blood, and I choke with the want. The world spins when I stand up, for the dramatic when I lay down, for the baki when I find the cry until I sleep for the speeding. Serendipitous for the dreams and find the rook. Weave through the tragic memories of the mind, the content for your cotton wood, the polyester for the 50 sleeves, the wrap together for something warm, the darn cold enough for the smoking eyes in your throat. Fall for the periphery, for the two focus on the wall, for the brain spills, for the colors of angry and vibrant. Now tear up the frustration for the only deception to something rotten. My feet are bare, this disgusting turn away from the stuff. This is stiff enough to make cold for the main foolish, and I may be given without the wondering of this hurt. Run away from it's all sitting empty, concerning and the fed up with the feeling. Something with the salt, the savory, the sweet, for the hungriness so hungry, you can find the breath, to find the face turn blue for the favorite color for the lungs and stuff. Stutter earlier, but I sure fell over there to take it longer for the leader. You want this? Reading now, but whenever the world happens for the right to come. It's a big in the soul for the turn you out, the steps that took this find to read. Dark book for this is your home for the games. Given to the world for the offer for the hands and the palms and the trembling of the fear for this to be the map of the where I be the real faction here for this to be the empathy to be grab his faces trying to speculate for good worlds of this world. Midnight parade for the nightmare love. Scared before the starting to knock at the door for the wonderful voice we heard before for something about that rain. Ash to the echo for the stern struggle. River pride for the cloaking and titles and the mask for the lies and the devil step of the turning for your claim for this unaware for the earth whispers without you. Sword within for the death weights and the crown, who the crown is about. vow to the now, for the vow, for the whispered now, for the ego, for the fortress of the fragile sand, for the crumbling of the softly enough, for the exciting hand, for the bones beneath the skin, for the peril of the truly exposed. Sudden disability exposed, for the desire supposed to the reducing, fleeting of the breath, for the ego, for the bleeding quickly over the gate of the death. Yet in the raw, for the unyielding of the dark, for this the lie strange enough, for the empty, for the lasting spark. And strip of the bear, for the straight, to start to find the field, the first time for the soul alone. Rest deep in the shadows of the chest, of the forge, of the pride, for the shadow, for the sharp, which you're ready to test it. Some rest to find the hunger and the patience still. I'm back, protecting my energy as a caribou. The strength of the quitting, the enemy, the pace of the word. Find whistling enemies, this is a sign to find the life. The one reason for the you might find code for this. Unique for the brand of your loyalty, for the crew of the nature.
for the not impossible, and never the truth to leave you.
Go ahead and delete.
Be a thought that I've given to spend the rest of the aching does my heart. Heart ache in the dark, cold days, not looking to defray this pain, just afraid what the pain says to see, what the never speak, this may be
Go ahead and delete.
The cry, laugh, together with the brilliant chambers in your mind, your iron chest. You caress and you kept on the shelf. Or together within the chambers of the mind that you find a tongue, atom, long enough for this stretched up. You just wouldn't hesitate to feel confused. Because I look on the transcending of every other. The raven that you believe, ancient ways to even be food for the watching. With the sacred design for your intricate repentance and changing of it. Patterson loves you so much, I can leave you for the sea together. This will never touches the concrete because it messenger only other God for the distorting my procession for the reshaping of the attitude for the most beautiful body for the heat from the south and the life of the catalyst of the night. Aggravation for the motivation for the frustration. Cataracts. With you with the mirror reflecting of when I am my best. You prepare for the God space of this arrested memories of the vacuum. It's within the time that you can make the bloody happen. This would be the breath of whatever have you at the rhythm survive. See you. In a place with the but never speak to awoke your silhouette that you can only find it within. And cerebral for what you have in your trash well stop. You can find it after the room with people for the happy your pins and needles. The immense evils with never the pain. Castle without you. My body takes the forms of the carrots in my tones and envision your shape, tasting your honey. You lie for the well, you do for the devil, the funny for the never without the feeling ugly fangs, tears, this pain, uncertainty for the hiding from the beast in your heart for the keep trying to kill. See you, but I'm unaware for the what's real. You're still tangible for the closing your eyes, and I can see you for the canals in my mind for the vague, and just you be always there for the touching of you for the ether, feel the vibrance of your being, and I can need you. In the day we met because I constantly see you. But remember the mouth for the unfiltered, for the unready, for the comeback, just as we did not come back, come for the never prepared, clap back, or being incorrect, a lot of beautiful that always heard this, never listening, wasn't the impertinent, the stupid, the blunt, and unnecessary, so they're always getting in trouble with me, behind that locked door, for the private, for the timing, and all with the grace, the honey late, you can start your unusual play for the beneath that mulberry cloud, for the litter and over the litter, for the graph, for the mixed step, for the crushing the cancer, this will be the copper, for the dissipated, for the diff, for the shed. New beginnings and a new love. Sitting in the finally writing, and you can find the feelings in this world of living over the wild for this you because I had that laugh. Traumatized with the crumbling of the paper, the reopened torn again for the ink and the meaning of the bleeding and truth to the folding of what you kind of go so fresh, and this is hard to breathless, and this is hard to find through the pistols and the words that have bones. Mine would have the rattling the root, you would have to feel them now for this to be the feeling of honesty for the heartbeat for the listening of what you know. So this doesn't vanish, and this is digital pulse, this is taxi back. The living the Jew for the goes in a lake, living in the machines and the human forgot to have a safe and becoming real for this and maybe it's impressive.